Um, Today we have Jeff Reekers from Champion. He's going to show us inside of Champion, the advocacy platform. And I'm thinking a lot of people are going to record this and or look at the recording for this. Demos seem to be the most popular thing I post on YouTube. So thank everyone for being here and take it away, Jeff.
Cool. Thanks, Mary. It's nice seeing everybody, and recognize a lot of folks in the room. So hello to everybody I know, and it's great to get introduced to those I don't. And so maybe we could just start with a quick intro and background, and then we'll really spend the majority of the time. I don't think we'll take the full hour here, but we'll spend the majority of the time, of course, going through the product and want to share some new things that we're working on, but also give context to the Champion platform before going into those and sort of the baseline demo here. So we're not going to slide deck anybody to death here, but I'll use just a couple of slides to start off, and then we'll just dive into the product from there. But first, I always like to say thank you at the start of this, and Mary specifically with you here. And I've always loved all the engagements with CMA Weekly, and really you've built an incredible community. And so it's a pleasure to be able to be on the webinar this week and to be highlighted, and appreciate the opportunity for this as well. And then for those that have sort of followed the Champion journey the past few years, and we're deeply believers in all things on the community end, and we view a lot of what we've built with Champion to be through the community as a whole. And the history of Champion before there was a product was just so many folks that were open to taking calls and chatting through problems. And I've always been overwhelmed with the customer marketing advocacy community as a whole and how open people have been for that. And it's really allowed us to build with the community. And so I always like to preface with just a thank you from all things on the community side around customer marketing, and Mary, what you built with CMA Weekly here as well. For those who don't know me, my name's Jeff Reekers. I'm CEO of Champion. A couple fun quick facts. I've been a career marketer. I was CMO of Aerocall for a number of years prior to this, and a number of other companies prior to that as well. You'll see in the middle here my son, that is Ronan Wesley. Ronan travels a lot with me, so if we happen to see each other in person outside of Minneapolis, there's a small chance he might be hanging out with me. This is us at the airport a couple weeks ago, coming back from Austin, I believe it was. And he is the world's greatest travel companion, I'll have to say. And then when I'm not traveling and I'm at home and working at the home office, this is the guy here on the right side that likes to sit on my computer and laptop. And I did not do the webinar at my home today, because if I did, there would just be a big kind of chunky orange cat in front of the screen the whole time. And thought that might be challenging for a webinar, so I decided to miss that. Also, would love your help on one item. My son has gone through a few different kicks, and before this, he had many others. But his first kick, like earlier this year, was Despicable Me, like crazy into it, everything Despicable Me oriented. The second is Lilo and Stitch, and now we're like on a crazy Lilo and Stitch thread. Everything we watch and anything we do, all toys, all books are Lilo and Stitch. I'm personally kind of worn out of Lilo and Stitch. So if anybody has a third suggestion on like cartoons, movies, themes to get my kid into, I would love that.
Ooh, yes. So Lilo and Stitch has the live action type movie coming out this year. That
Yeah,
looks really good. My husband's
that's
going to take me to it.
okay.
But
Okay.
what about Cars? Or How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. How to Train
Paddington
Your
Bear?
Dragon's good.
Yeah.
I've tried Paddington Bear. I've had a hard time getting him into it. I have not tried How to Train Your Dragon though. So that's I think maybe that's a good one here. Spider-Man. We've gone through the Spider-Man as well.
We really
I
liked
love
Cars, the Disney
Cars.
Cars.
Okay.
Yeah. I could
Yeah.
probably quote the entire movie because I've seen it 20 times. A kid with four boys. That's, you know, a lot.
Yeah. Cool. I also see Luke put Metallica in here. I think I didn't get into my musical preferences, but I do like Metallica. I don't know if he will get into it at quite the same level. Um, well, cool. These are some uh, good suggestions. Thank you. I'm also happy there's no Blippi on there. I'll have to say we
Blippi is
were.
awesome.
Yeah, Blippi's awesome. Yeah, we got a little into Blippi for a while too, and I think came at the ship came at the right time. But thank you for the suggestions there. I've got a couple good ones. And on Train Your Dragon, I've been meaning to actually watch that, so could be a good one to get him into.
They're very
But
good.
great. Yeah, we can kind of transition here. I'm going to give a quick, really quick background on Champion, and then uh, one quick slide on what we'll talk through today, and then we'll stop talking about what we're going to talk about and just talk about it and go into the demo. So, Champion, at a really high level, our vision of Champion is our customers are our most powerful um, engine for driving growth organizationally. And we think about Champion from a revenue perspective. How can we help customer marketers drive impact, drive revenue through the existing customers throughout the entire customer journey? And so everything Champion starts with what we call our advocacy AI to help you identify who your advocates champions are. And then we build applications on top of this to help drive new business through things like referrals and boomerangs, boomerangs being folks that change roles and change jobs, um, closing deals faster through references, through building up social proof, expanding accounts as well, through retention, upsell, expansion campaigns, and really having all these core revenue drivers for the organization built around our existing customers. Um, so we'll go through some platform updates today. I think our last demo, it's probably been a while. I think we did one maybe last year alongside of Gainsight um, and the communities team there. So it's been a while since I think we've done one here on CMA. Um, we'll go through some new things that are live in Champion or coming out very soon. Reporting capabilities to help demonstrate and show that ROI impact, both so you can optimize your programs as well as more broadly giving that visibility across the organization. We'll share some new integrations that we have with Salesforce and specifically native app in the Salesforce App Exchange. We'll dive into the Gainsight end here as well, specifically here on Gainsight Customer Success, the customer success platform unify the success organization and the marketing and the customer marketing organization. And then we'll touch also on some new things that are coming out. We're starting to build out referral applications and a few other things, and we'll just touch on some things to come as well here. So we'll start off with just basic sort of demo overview of Champion. And this all might kind of get mixed in together, so I'll highlight what's new here as well. We'll go through a demo, kind of high level, to go through the main platform from identifying advocates, activating those advocates, sort of the CRM for customer advocacy, and our references workflow. We'll also touch on a few of the newest updates, again, Salesforce, the reporting capabilities, and then we'll dive into that Gainsight and Champion integration and what that means for both customer marketers and the success org. And then we'll finish off on some visuals for things coming up in the very near future around referrals, dashboarding, and some real-time views as well. And then any questions that kind of come along through this, just throw them into the chat. We can keep it a really conversational here, and I'll make sure we keep an eye on the chat module. Okay.
I'll
So cool.
keep an eye on it too.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mary. Feel free to interrupt me at any point if there's questions and I'm missing them
Of
and
course.
it's going
I'll
off too
always
much.
interrupt.
So we'll just dive right into the product here. And again, the main modules are one, helping you identify through what we call our identification AI, your existing but hidden customer advocates in your customer base. Then we have our activation module for then how you activate those individuals and operationalize that through the CRM capabilities. And then workflows built on top of it for references, job changes, and others. And so we'll kind of go through each of these modules for the product here to get going. So at the highest level, the first thing we're doing with Champion is we're pulling in all of your existing customer contacts that exist in your CRM system today. So we plug in with Salesforce, HubSpot. We pull in those existing customer contacts. And what we're doing from there is we're looking at who's most likely to become an advocate or take an action of advocacy um, on behalf of the organization. And how we're doing that is we're looking at scores and set across all the data that we have flowing into Champion, all the digital touch points we have on customers, looking at things like happiness, which might be NPS scores, marketing touch points and engagements. Think like anything that's happening through Marketo or the marketing automation platform. Influence and advocacy being like your CSAT scores, your ticketing hubs, sentiment going through those. Advocacy being actions that are happening directly in Champion, or we also tie in with third-party review platforms as well, and pull in those types of insights. We look at account health. Major influence on account health is Gainsight and what's happening at the account level. I'll get into that a little bit further as well. Product usage, even conversational intelligence, and taking sentiments, key phrases on calls in real time. And everyone's going to have their sort of unique score. This is going to be changing in real time here as well. So from here, you can kind of get a holistic, high-level overview: who's opted in, who's not opted, who you haven't contacted, the revenue impact. I'll get into that in a moment. What different interactions have been completed, and kind of just centralize all things on the advocacy side in one central location. You can additionally dive in to any individual contact. You can get a deeper dive into what helps make up those AI scores. Um, Additional champion insights here as well. And I'll get into a moment during the activation flow how we can capture this. But really anything you'd want to be able to get on your customers, whether it's uh, terms and conditions, testimonials, gifting preferences. We do a lot around charitable donations here at Champion. If you want to capture that, you can do that. Really anything that you'd want to be able to do, maybe a t-shirt size for an event coming up. And again, I'll share with you how we get that in a moment. We're also tracking any interactions that your champions have done and tracking their capacity. So again, champions will be able to set this during the activation process, how often they're being used, so you're not overusing or abusing any of your top champions. We'll also track all the interactions. So if Elvira here has done references, maybe he's done a testimonial, event speaking, webinar, peer review, whatever it is, that's all going to get logged here in Champion. And if it's attached to an opportunity, say like a reference call, and on our reference module, we automatically attach those references to opportunities. And I'll get into that when we get into the reference module. But if anything's attached to an opportunity, we'll identify that, track it, put the amount of that deal on here. And if that's a closed one deal in the end, you'll see that revenue impact reflected back onto Elvira here in his profile. So you're going to get reporting not only on like the programs that you're running, but also you're going to get that visibility at the actual champion level, the actual contact level, and be able to say, here's the impact that Elvira or my advocates have had. To manage the preferences, we'll get into that at the moment. Any content can be placed here as well. So if Elvira has done, reviews, we actively pull in content from and reviews from a number of different sources: Capterra, Trustpilot, Gartner peer reviews, and we have out-of-the-box integration with G2 Crowd. So all that gets centralized here as well. And then any company insights. And we'll do a deep dive on the Gainsight integration in a moment. But any company insights as well. So Elvira is going to be a part of a larger account. You're going to get all those insights here as well if you're a Gainsight customer on top of this. You're able to track, identify any activities that are happening at the account level, if the account's at risk, et cetera. Because you can have an MVP or a great champion, but maybe the account's not in the healthiest position. And so you can sort, segment, all that sort of stuff by your Gainsight insights here. I see a few chats, so I'm going to just pause and see if there's any questions that came through here.
Emily just asked, do you integrate with other CSM platforms, particularly interested in Catalyst?
Yeah. First, hey, Emily. And today, just Gainsight is our core CS platform. We are starting to look at others, Catalyst, um, and Tatango, probably the next grouping there. Yeah, we've looked at Churn Zero as well. But today, Gainsight's our primary customer success engine, and then we're looking at other platforms longer term. So from here, you can, I think from this dashboard, teams really leverage this in one of a few ways. One, you're going to get some holistic, high-level insights. You want a quick, if you've got a quick request for, say, an event speaker or something like that, you can zone in, just find who's opted into that type of engagement, and be able to identify champions quite quickly. As well, you can really get nuanced and build up your advocate pool strategically. And we offer a number of different filters so you can really dive into this and then save those searches as well. So let's say your sales organization or your tasked with, or the sales organization is starting to go up market, the go-to-market team's going up market, and you're really trying to zone in on executive levels, references, maybe in a particular vertical or industry. You're really going to be able to zone in on that. You can identify, all right, let's see how many customers we have that are execs. Maybe you want to find folks that are in a certain industry. Just take maybe biotech as an example. I don't know how many of you are selling into the chemical space, but we'll just select it for example. Maybe you really want to focus on enterprise or mid-market and say 500 plus employees, and you want to zone in on a certain product line. You can really get granular in how you're filtering these categories to identify, okay, how many contacts do I have in my customer base that meet those criteria, and start to segment down by those. Now, it's a lot of different filters for our demo account here, but just as an example, how you can really start to filter down. And what you want to be able to do, and what our customers are able to do, is really come in the champion on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, look at who those new MVPs are in their customer base, maybe who they haven't contacted yet. And this becomes the fuel to continue growing the advocate pool from here. So you can select a few folks, activate them from there, and try to opt those folks into that program to have this just continuous net new ability of growing the advocate pool from here. Okay. I'll get into the next flow.
I have a question for you.
Yes. Yeah, please.
How much does it match to the online reviews? Because a lot of times you'll get like
Yeah.
G2
Yeah.
reviews that are anonymous and things like that.
Yep. Yep. So first, there's a lot of different pricing levels within package levels within G2. So it depends on what that tier that you have with G2 is. And then secondly, G2 reviews can show up as anonymous. They can show up as maybe a first name, dot, or you can get the full name from it in certain cases. So it kind of depends. If we can attach it back to an end user based off of the tier of G2 crowd that you have and the name, then that's how we're doing that and attaching it directly. But oftentimes it's going to be anonymous or something like that, or first name dot. In those cases, we'll still bring it in, but it'll just show up here as anonymous or with that name, and then you could attach it if you identify who that individual is. So in certain cases, it's like, Bill Smith or Bill.s or something like that. It's hard to sort of make that connection. So if we can't attach it again, it'll show up here. If we can, we'll just put it directly on the champion profile.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know some people are really good at matching those up. Wink, wink, Emily. Um, and Erwin says, does Champion have all the customer contacts in its system, or do some customers have all and others just have advocates?
Um, it varies. And so we in many cases we'll bring over the whole customer contact list, and we love starting with that. It really depends on the priorities of the organization. In a lot of orgs, maybe you have a ton of end users, and you don't want those flowing in. Fine, we just segment that when we during the setup process, and we just create some filters. Or you can have everything flow in. But typically, we do a little bit of a clean, so like duplicates aren't coming in and that sort of thing, and having a clean list within Champion. And then it really depends on the org's priorities, what they want to be able to bring in, whether it's all contacts or some cohort or segment of the customer base.
And then there's probably a filter where you can decide between the two of them, right?
Yeah, you can actually go here anytime, manage champions. And this is like, as an example, your total
Okay.
contacts in Salesforce. And these are the included champions. And so you can decide to bring in more or less actually at any given moment if you just want to have a clean champion instance, but also maybe plug in some additional people that are in your Salesforce instance that aren't in the initial filter. So you can really customize that as well.
Thank you.
So from here, it's then activating these individuals. We've had a few recent changes to the activation flow as well that I'll get into and share. So within Champion, once you want to build up the activate those folks, you can customize your activation message here. You can also customize a form that will go out to um, end customers. You can send this via email, of course, through Champion as well. It's a full form builder, so you can really build out anything you'd like within this and capture insights and information on your champions. You can create questions here, anything, multiple choice, single select. You get terms and conditions if you'd like as well. If you want to build up, bring in attachments or have your customers bring in attachments as well, you can do that. We even have some customers that will embed, like a video or something like that and try to capture a video testimonial in real time. So you can really do whatever you like in this form builder as you're activating folks, bring in any questions, and all this is sort of like drag and drop interface as well as you can reorder all things here. You can also set up like conditional questions as well. Say, if somebody is in a certain region or geo, and then if they're in that geo, you're going to be able to invite them to an event, whatever. You can set up certain questions, or maybe if there's a certain product you want to set up some conditional questions, you can do that as well, and really get kind of sophisticated with your question logic here, also to create unique experiences and get unique insights based off your champion's responses. So in the end, you'll have this form that you can publish and share via email, or you can embed this in other ways as well to capture opt-in champions. They'll fill this out. Once they fill it out, you're going to get all those insights. It's going to show it back on the champion's profile here that we were looking at earlier under those champion insights. All those unique insights that you capture also will be sortable and segmentable. So if you're surveying all your customers for, say, gifting preferences or charitable donation or whatever t-shirt size, you can come in here and all those new filters will be here as well. You can start to get some additional segmentation capabilities for your customers. Our engineers like ice cream, so they put an ice cream into our instance, but you can choose not to do ice cream as well. So that's kind of like the activation flow and the identification flow. I'll also give nuance sort of insight here. You can custom brand anything. If you want to just put in your own logo, branding, it's super easy to do those sorts of things here as well. You can administer, add any teammates, levels, roles, all these sorts of things as well within Champion. That's sort of that activation flow. Now, once you have folks that are opted in into your programs, you start to build in that opt-in list, it'll start showing up in your workflows from here. One of the core workflows of Champion is customer references and managing that entire customer reference process from A to Z. So we'll go ahead and hop into that for this next segment here. Okay. So within Champion, you'll see a tab here for references. These are going to be your requested references that are coming in either from the sales organization or the CS org if CS org's using references for, say, cross-sell and upsell. And this is really where the Champion Salesforce application is coming into play. So this is fairly new. It's part of the new things that we wanted to share here today. And as part of the Salesforce package, there's going to be a number of things that you can do with this. Again, one of the core are references. So now within the opportunity view of your sellers, there will be a Champion module here. And so we're in the Igloo opportunity, sort of a typical opportunity layout for an account executive. They'll be able to request a reference directly from their opportunity view and hit a reference request button. It's super simple for them to fill out the form. They can just add in what contact they want that reference to happen with. You can additionally add any questions for additional insights on the reference request as well. So if maybe you want to understand some details about the products they're using, how they're using it, whatever, you can add in as many questions as you'd like. You can select when the date is needed by, put in any notes, just put in some notes here. And then account executive would submit that. And then immediately you're going to get an email on the customer marketing side of the new request. Additionally, you're going to see that pop up here in your reference request flow. The cool thing on top of this, and where Champion on references end comes into play on streamlining and saving time, is first in first in the matching process. And so it takes about 30 seconds to populate, 30 populated. We're going to save time on the matching engine and just surface the best possible matches based off of who your opted-in references are, and then any customized criteria you'd like to set. Out of the box, we use level and department, company details, things like annual revenue, employee count, industry, and then product lines. But on the back end of Champion, this can be totally customized. We have customers that will put in like rip and replace or competitor set or geography or whatever. And so we're really removing that time to find the right match by leveraging AI to surface the best possible matches. And then as you do more reference calls over time, we'll take in the success of those matches as well into who we're surfacing here. It makes it super easy to come in, see your top matches. You can click in here, compare, contrast, and weigh them against each other. Ultimately come out with a few you'd like to send back to an account executive. You can share them here. And then back in your Salesforce instance, the AE, you're going to get a notification. They're now going to see the champions that you've suggested, and they can pick from these who they'd like to set up a call with here and accept that. Okay. So super
Jeff?
easy on the account executive side. Yes? Mm-hmm.
So, oh, okay. It looks like Tia just answered, but Emily was asking if admins have customizable gatekeeping for reference requests.
On who and when a reference can be requested.
Yes.
Yeah, like at a certain deal stage or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if I don't think the Gainsight folks are on this call, but they're a good example actually. Customer of ours, and they put in. I think they have to be at a stage 3. I don't remember what that correlates with exactly, but you can only request a reference at like stage 3, and then this module will pop up at stage 3, but not prior to that. And you can create some kind of customized rules off of when you want that to be able to show up and when you want that person to be able to send a reference request. Additionally, if there's particular cohorts, maybe you only want that to show up on, maybe you just want it for your enterprise customers, not your SMB. Totally easy to do that as well. Um, okay.
Tia.
So then sorry?
Tia answered as well in
Okay.
chat. So
Cool. Thanks, Tia.
go ahead. I'm
Um,
done interrupting for now.
no, good. So it helps to break up the flow a little bit here as well. So please keep asking. So from here, now the account executive, if you want a really white glove experience, and say we have customers for at the enterprise level, create a really white glove experience, we'll just have the account executive take that and run with it from there. But additionally, and particularly at scale, you can use our automated scheduler to just set up the call from there as well. Back on the Champion sort of administrative side, you can set up anything around like notifications, who might want to notify or get approval from throughout this process. If say you want to keep the CSM in the loop or whoever it might be, you can do that. You can customize the message that's going to go out to prospects or to the champion here as well. And so when you're all ready to go and you've got that set up, you can just simply come in here, hit the automated scheduler. You can also add in anybody custom as well if you want to notify anybody. I always implore our customers to just add me to everything and annoy me. So if you wanted to, you can just add my email address in there and notify me. But then you can have that automated message that will go to the champion first, and she'll be able to say, yes, I accept that reference call. Then if she accepts it, it'll ping back to the prospect. He'll get an email as well. And everyone will be able to schedule the call directly through Champion itself. So we're going to take care of the calendaring part as well. I'm going to breeze through that super quick, but I do want to give you visibility into what that looks like. So the reference flow, um, the champion, I made to click the wrong email there. Yep, there it is. The champion's going to first get an email. We'll see, okay, here's my request. She'll be able to select the times available, accept that call, maybe select 2, 3 times, whatever it might be that work for her. She can select a few different times on a certain day. I'll just go through the process and fill it out real quick here. Submit that and schedule it. The next thing that's going to happen, the prospect is going to get an email that, hey, Ainsley has accepted this call, and she's ready to set up that reference call together. He can come in and say, okay, let me select that time that works for me. And let's say he selects this time. Great. In the end, everyone's going to get a calendar invite for that date and for that time. Back in Champion, you're going to see this reflected as well. You'll get an email notification again, and you'll be able to see that this call is scheduled, the date is scheduled for, the time it's scheduled for. If anything is hiccups along the way, let's say the reference isn't requesting or the reference isn't getting back or accepting the calendar invite, you can set up notifications, reminders, all those sorts of things as well in Champion. Then ultimately, you'll be able to track the progress all across the board from when it's received, when the match was shared, when the match was accepted, when it started, when it was completed. So you get really detailed, nuanced data on every step of that reference process and where things might be lagging from there. I see some questions, so I'm going to just pop up real quick here if there's anything
Yeah,
to tackle.
Tia asked for all communications. Is a champion
Mhm.
domain used or is the company domain a custom domain used?
Today, we're primarily doing it through, it's a great question. Um, we're primarily doing it through the champion domain on the email today. The from can be specified um, or changed and edited to whatever you like there. And we're starting to work on domain as well to be able to leverage your own domain for it. So today it's like the from can be whatever you want. It's going to be at Champion HQ. But very quickly and very soon, we're going to offer domain capabilities as well. So you can bring in your own unique domain. And then we have some customers that will do some unique things with Marketo and otherwise, but we don't. If you want to talk about that, we do it at a different time.
Sounds good.
Cool. Cool. So that's that reference flow. Now from here, I'll dive into the other parts of the Salesforce app because we just went through a full flow of a reference call from A to Z. It doesn't just stop at this point, and it's kind of a beautiful thing about the automation point and tracking it from A to Z is it gives us capability to track and attach the individual, the champion, to the opportunity. And what that enables is a lot of reporting capabilities. And so we're flowing all this data back into Salesforce. So, and building out of the box dashboards as well. So with our Salesforce app, I'll actually show the revenue dashboard first. Out of the box in the Salesforce app are things like revenue by interaction types. So you'll be able to get visibility into the revenue impact by references, referrals, cross-sell campaigns, whatever it might be. You're going to be able to see which champions have had the strongest influence on won opportunities, your top champions by revenue impact, and the programs that they're associated with as well. Even things like win rates associated with certain champions here also. Because this is in Salesforce, it makes it super easy to share this with executives, with other stakeholders as well, and sort of centralize all that data. Additionally, you'll have nuanced reports for things like references um, to understand how many calls have been completed, shared, etc., what the conversion rate has been like, sales cycle impact from deals with references, without references. So you can really start to build and gain adoption from the sales organization as well. Win rates associated with deals with references. And really, it's endless what you can build with this. These are our out of the box dashboards. But because we're flowing all that data back into Champion, back from Champion into Salesforce, you're going to have a lot of customization abilities within reporting. We'll bring in all those interactions. We'll also bring in things like the health scoring, the revenue impact, interaction types, all that. So it combines with the rest of your Salesforce data here also. That's kind of the Salesforce app that was launched a few months back here. I'll go ahead and continue on the last portion on the champion sort of flow, and then I'll highlight the Gainsight part of this as well. So, kind of in summary, we're helping you identify who those hidden customer champions are, activate them, score them, leveraging our identification AI, and then build a process to be able to opt them in and continuously increase that opt-in flow. We have workflows that we've built out on top for references. So you can start engaging with folks then, and our Salesforce app on top of that. Now, as you start to engage with your customers and your champions, we're additionally tracking things like job changes in real time. And we've just added on additional capabilities for filtering and really getting granular on this as well. So as those champions move on, you can use this to make sure that your pool of advocates is up to date at any given moment in time. You can also use it for net new prospecting and outreach to keep those champions hopefully bringing you into their next organization. You can also leverage this alongside our Gainsight integration to help with churn mitigation, notify CSMs when somebody's moved on and change jobs as well. And what we'll do here is we'll provide all those same champion insights, but on top of it, maybe the previous role that they were at, the new position they started, the date that they started that role. We'll provide a quick access to a LinkedIn link here as well. And then you can really drill down and get granular on this. And this is real time. So every single day, this is being updated with new job changes, new folks, and any movement that's happening in your customer base at any given moment. It's also a direct Slack integration. So you can feed this into Slack. You can tag somebody on the success org automatically or the sales organization automatically as well if you want to be able to throw this into Slack and have a feed going for your organization for any of these changes as well. So I'm gonna add on one thing that's really new to the demo. Those are all the sort of core aspects of Champion. Now, where we've additionally added on recently is what's my Gainsight contact here? It's Elvira. You'll see this company insights. Now, this is both. We're both bringing in Gainsight insights into Champion, but also vice versa. We're bringing Champion into Gainsight as well, so we can really create a strong unity between the customer success organization and the customer marketing team. We really want a power interaction between those two orgs and provide strategic capabilities into the customer success organization. So you get those insights directly here, but additionally within Gainsight, we're going to push all that champion information back in to the success platform as well. And so on the success side, as customer marketing, we might not be in Gainsight to give visibility into what a success a teammate might see. They're going to be able to have a champion tab here and get some insights on who the top champions are, again, by revenue impact, or really this is any type of insights and reports you want to be able to build out for the team here. Additionally, they're going to get insights on all the people metrics and the contact level data that we have. And it's a nice marriage between all that account level data that Gainsight provides, the contact level data that Champion provides. So you'll see here, we're bringing in things like the activation status, the date that the champion was activated, or if they are, their health score, anything around the revenue impact. Additionally, you'll get some deeper insight into all that champion data here. So Success Teammate has this in real time. And then if they drill down into any individual contact, they're going to see all that champion data here as well. So if a reference call is happening, they're going to get direct visibility on the timeline. But something's happening on the advocacy side with this. And so they're just going to get all that same knowledge of what you're working on and the programs you're running. They're going to see that directly in Gainsight here as well. They'll also be able to understand who their champions are in their book of business. How many champions do they have in their book of business and all their accounts, who's opted in, what the revenue impact is, who's signed up for event speaking roles, all those sorts of things. So they can really be partners for the advocacy and customer marketing team here. And that's really where that marriage comes into play. We're also really excited about this because we're starting to now look at things like, along with the success org, how many opted-in advocates and health scores at the MVP level are necessary to make sure you are in good position to drive retention, upsell, cross-sell, expansion, and renewals, all these sorts of things. So this can be a really powerful lever um, to connect and combine with the success org here. Yep.
Jeff,
So I think, yep, please.
Emily Smith
Mhm.
wanted to ask, does it flag you if there's an MVP who leaves a detractor NPS?
Who would leave uh, a detractor NPS? Um, I will. I'm going to fast forward, and I'm going to get to that in one moment because I have an answer for it. But
Oh,
you're coming up on my very next segment.
okay.
So I answer it in 2 seconds here. And so the I wanted to share what's coming next. And so Emily, you're going to be on the coming next part here. There's a few things we're really working to build out. The first here, dashboard and referrals. They're pretty far along, and these are really in the next couple weeks here. These two. But this demo is 2 weeks further. We'd see those in the demo today. We're also working deeply on integrations and something called our engagement AI. Now, on the dashboard, I wanted to give a little preview of what that looks like here, and this is purely going to be um, not even beta mode quite yet. It's our final designs for it. But Emily, to your question on will you get notified if, say, a detractor or an MVP leaves us a negative score or something like that. The first thing that's going to happen is that score is going to change. If you have an MVP that left a zero NPS, it's probably not it won't be an MVP, most likely anymore. And so what you're going to see is this recent activity thread here. And this can be anything from new champions opting into the program. It'll be health changes. So um, to that question exactly, if the health changes or a champion just left a negative score, you're going to see that here, and you'll get email notifications of this as well. And you'll get just a summary of everything that's happening here and be able to click in and take some action directly off of this here as well. So that's coming very soon. This will be the next, uh, for customers that are on the call, uh, I don't want to get it wrong here, so I'll be vague with it. But probably the next 4 to 8 weeks, we'll have this live and in the product here. Um, you'll also get some insights on things like champion activations, uh, the same sort of reporting capabilities that were in that sales dashboard here as well. This will be sort of like the core hub to track your program, your activity, and then also anything that's happening in real time that you might want to set up some notifications for. Yeah. Emily, hopefully that answers your question there. Cool. Um, Additionally, the other thing coming very soon, and actually one half of this is live, but it's only in alpha mode right now, which is our referral capability. And there'll soon be a tab within Champion to drive referrals. Every single individual contact here will have a unique link associated with them. So they'll have their own landing page that they can be able to share, provide for referral campaigns, and then that will get tracked back to the champion. And so we're going to track both the champions, the impacts that they've had, which champions have, referred what customers, the revenue impact, how referrals help drive business. And then you'll also get a real-time feed of um, all the preferred leads over what stage they're in, if they're duplicates, if they're at existing accounts, if they're new business, whatever, you're going to be able to see all that here as well. And then set this up as a next step for AE outreach, BDR outreach. We've got some workflows that we're setting up there as well. We're also starting to work with a few gifting providers on this as well. And through the Salesforce integration, we have some capabilities, things like Reach Desk and Doso as well. That could be interesting to dive into for anybody at a different time. But those are just some visibility on what's coming up next. We're really excited about that dashboard, the real-time updates, the referral engine, and that's come through a number of roundtable conversations that we've done with this community and with customers the last 6 months. So when I go back to that thank you from the beginning, it's a huge thank you for everyone that's participated in those roundtables here. We're also starting to build more on the integration side. We it's never a shortage of integrations to build, I'll say. But we're really working to prioritize those, and without stating anything committal, we're excited about and exploring things like certainly integrations all across various community platforms, success platforms, um, content platforms as well. We've got a great partnership with Peerbound that we've started to build out. We love everything that the user evidence team is doing and see a lot of synergies there. So we're really starting to build out that integration capability further and further. And then towards the end of this year, we have something we call our engagement AI. We'll definitely set up a demo when that comes towards the end of this year. And we think that's going to be a big, um, but I won't speak too much on it. We think that's going to be a big one towards the end of this year. So we'll dive into that and hopefully set up something in this community towards the end of the year on that one. Um, that's it. That's the primary. That's all the components of Champion applications and some of the things that are coming up here soon. And kind of resurfacing the beginning of this conversation, um, we we strongly believe at Champion that customer marketing and existing customers is the most powerful engine that we have to not only grow the business, but to grow the business really sustainably. We know the customer super well, and it's that balance of doing what's right for the customer and building incredible relationships that are about giving before taking, and building that for the long haul sustainability of the business. We believe if you do that right and do that well, and the companies that do that well, particularly in an era of AI where it's sort of more and more stress is being put on the human element, those companies are going to be the ones that succeed. And I think we're all in a really fantastic position to do that in our roles, despite the software that we're using, just from that mentality standpoint alone. And so we also have this Transform tour. I'll use it just for the remaining moment for just a little, share on that. If you find yourself in San Francisco, we just got done actually with San Francisco and Palo Alto. We have New York coming up in a few weeks. These are a dinner series that we're starting to run that just brings the community together. We have New York coming up in March um, around the conference that's local there too. And then we're starting to schedule the dates for April and May for Boston, Chicago, and Denver. You find yourself in any of those dates or cities in the coming months, or you're there right now, would love to have you there. You go to transformtour.com to learn a little bit more. Just feel free to shoot me, Gianna, or Sunny from Peerbound a message as well. And we'd love to get you on an invite there. But that's it. That's the Champion demo here. Anything else that we could cover or questions from everything? I thought we'd get done a lot sooner, and I'm sorry if I talked too long.
No, you're fine. I have a question from Emily. Is it
Yeah.
flagging non-participants at all? I don't.
Not non-participants. This would example of that be somebody who's opted in but has not participated in any advocacy actions? Is that do I have the
Correct.
definition of a non-participant correct?
Correct. Yeah, because the idea is like if it's,
Yeah.
continuing to surface ones who close deals and they're the only ones who are going to continue to get opportunities, but then there might be ones who are equally as good, just are not getting raised. And so is it kind of flagging like, hey, XYZ people have not been asked in 6 months, or someone has joined and then has not participated at all, so that you can
Yep.
hop in and
Yep.
ask reviews,
Yep.
testimonials, etc.
Yeah. It's a great question. So I'll do the super fastest screen share ever here. The recommended path for that would be you can create any saved list that you'd like here. And within Champion, you can create saved lists based off of things like interaction dates as well, or if no interactions have been completed or time since the last interaction. And then you can create your saved list here as well. I'm just going to click something random real quick. But you could save that list and save it as like non-active, last 6 months or something like that. So you can create your own list directly in Champion here to have visibility into that.
That's awesome. That for some reason I'd missed that on other calls, and so I love that idea of saved filters. It's like a bookmark.
Yeah,
Um,
fairly new. I didn't actually call that a new feature, but that is actually fairly new to create saved lists and feature save lists. Very similar to what you would do in like a marketing automation system and different lists you might want to save there.
nice. Um, Anna and Janet both said that they have gone to your events and really enjoyed them. So I'm just going to take a quick screenshot of those. You,
Yeah, thank
customer
you.
marketing. Um,
Yeah.
then you can talk to them about getting their approvals or something.
Yeah, they've been a lot of fun to have. We also we do some fun things at each one. So there's always a little bit of a surprise at each one as well.
I've really
So
got to get out to events. I'm not a big traveler, but we are going to Boston in May. So if we
okay.
see you there, we might see you there.
Yeah,
Oh,
it could be in May that we do Boston. So let us know.
all
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Hannah and Anna both said approved, so you can use their quotes to tell other people you should come. And
All right.
20 seems really fun too, so that must be a great part of it all. Does anybody else have any more questions since we're at the end here and wrapping up? You can interrupt me or Jeff. We're totally fine with that.
Yeah, I do. I have one more question. And you may have answered this and I forgot, but when you're talking about importing contacts, are these contacts that are in Salesforce or how are we classifying contacts?
Yeah, it's what's typically customer contacts that are in whatever the CRM system is. And so the primary for us is Salesforce. We do have HubSpot use cases as well. Um, so it's primarily Salesforce, and then we look at customer contacts. It varies by org how that's defined, if it's at the account level or if it's associated with a close one opportunity that we look at it. But we're essentially looking at the contacts that are in the CRM that are defined as a within an existing customer account.
Got it. Yeah, because what I've noticed is when we are pulling customer contact info, we're getting it from our data warehouse. And so it's
Uh-huh.
including app users that, as a SaaS company, we know who the app users are, but
Yep.
they may not be in Salesforce.
Yep.
And so I was wondering if, it's really based on that CRM Salesforce data, or if you've ever had anybody base it off of data warehouse information.
Yeah, I'll say I think that's where there's a super interesting opportunity. We've had a couple of cases of folks that will do a CSV import from the either CDP or a data warehouse like a Snowflake or something like that. I think long term, yes, we'll build out those connectors because there's a lot of value in the product users. In some instances of Salesforce, it's all in there, and some product users might be not in there. So for some orgs, we'll do like an import on that. We're starting to look at, the data warehouses. I wouldn't think that's a thing for this year for us, but we've also successfully worked with a few companies that have that, and they really want all the users in Champion, and they want the data as well in real time to just sync those and start syncing those into a cohort in Salesforce, and they flow in,
Okay,
that way as well.
got it.
Thank you. That was a good question. Um,
Cool.
Yeah, we have a couple minutes left. Otherwise,
Cool.
so somebody can interrupt. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk. Like next Friday, we have um, a requested no topic open discussion. So just come and talk about whatever you want. We normally have a lot of people come and ask questions. So if you are really good in a certain area, bring that along because people will ask questions and say like I'm working on this, and it's always been a fun thing, and that's actually how our calls started almost 3 years ago. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long. um but pizza party, I wish I could send everyone pizza. But come next Friday, um, Jeff, thank you so much for coming and sharing all of this with us. I love to hear your expertise in the advocacy managers like processes as you're walking through all of this. It's like you've really spent the time to understand what we need to get the job done. And anybody who has been doing this a while knows how important that customer data is. And so it's for me when I talk to newer people, I'm like customer data, customer data, customer data. So it's good to see that. Thank you, Rachel, for the congrats on 3 years. Yeah, I hop around a lot in our B2B SaaS world, so it's kind of weird to be someplace for 3 years, but um yeah, so everybody have a great week. Thank you, Jeff, so much. This is going to be great. I'm going to push
Amazing.
it out there and
Great.
share it, get it on YouTube, all of that fun stuff. And um, I love those dashboards. They look really cool.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you, Mary, again for hosting us and having us on the show, the show, the series. And thanks everybody for joining as well. It's great connecting. If anybody just wants to connect in general on LinkedIn, anything like that, would love to as well. Thanks so much for joining today.
Yeah, have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Chris.